Alright everyone, welcome back to M-Falcon Gaming, and we got some big news that just dropped not too long ago. We are getting Gen 4 just around the corner from the Pokemon website, not Niantic, not Pokemon Go, but from the official Pokemon website. They just released a kind of a teaser trailer that features some Gen 4 Pokemon, and then also going into it more, looks like there's going to be changes into some nest and migration. And there's also going to be a rework of the CP and HP values. Defense and stamina is going to be rebalanced on certain Pokemon. So I'm just kind of skimming through it real quick because the gist of the video is going to be a top 5 of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 4 that I'm looking forward to. But if you want to read this article, I'll post a link in the description below. But basically, get excited. Gen 4 is coming very, very soon. And next, we're going to get into my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon that I'm looking forward to when they get released into the game. So number 5 on my list of favorite Gen 4 Pokemon is Giratina. So, interesting about Giratina, in that teaser video, if you notice, towards the middle, there was a Pokemon that was kind of in a cave, very dark. All you can see is kind of the eyes in that part of the face. A lot of people are saying that's Giratina, which means he's probably going to be a new legendary raid boss as soon as Mewtwo is done. So very excited for that. A very cool typing with it being a ghost and dragon type. It'll be interesting to see what the moves it gets and how that will play into how useful it is or not. Max CP of 3965, very high up there. Now they are doing a stat rework, so these numbers can change just like for any other Pokemon that's already in the game. 206 attack is alright. The defense and the HP is where it stands out more, so it's going to last longer in battle. Wish we can put him in gyms, but yeah, Giratina, number 5 on my list as far as Pokemon I'm looking forward to from Gen 4. Alright, let's go on to number 4. So number 4 on my list is Darkrai. Darkrai being a pure dark type Pokemon, looks absolutely menacing, very scary stuff here. I think he'd make a great legendary boss as well, especially around this Halloween time. So I hope that it's not just Giratina that gets into the raid system, but maybe a mix between Giratina and Darkrai, just to keep things kind of in that Halloween theme, because we're most likely going to get some kind of Halloween themed event. But on to Darkrai, definitely a very cool Pokemon. Love that attack stat of 285. If that stays the same, it's going to be a good dark type Pokemon to have. A little lower on the HP and defense, but still not that bad. 3404 max CP, pretty good stuff right there. Technically it is a mythical Pokemon, but as we've seen with Deoxys, if it's not necessarily like Mew or Celebi or type of Pokemon like that, we're most likely going to get them in a legendary raid. So, pure dark type, we know what they are weak to: Bug, Fairy, and Fighting, and the resistance, Psychic, Dark, and Ghost. Very awesome stuff right there. Can't wait for this Pokemon to hit the game and see the moves that it has. Because the dark type outside of Tyranitar and maybe Houndoom definitely suffers as far as having viable Pokemon. So can't wait to see Darkrai in the game for sure. Now let's head on to number 3 is Garchomp. Look at this guy. The ground dragon type Pokemon. Absolutely incredible. Great typing. But we'll get into one huge drawback as far as his typing. Max CP at 3823 with a very good attack stat at 261. I'm not sure how that compares to Dragonite and Rayquaza. It might be a little lower than those guys, but still very good. If he can get some good ground moves or dragon moves, he'll definitely be very useful in the game. So the only concern I have with Garchomp is his 4x weakness to ice. Now, we've seen this before with Rayquaza, I believe Dragonite as well. Being a dragon and flying type lends itself to being 4x weak to ice. So, how will that play into the game? Who knows? I think if Garchomp gets a good move, you can kind of overlook it a little bit. What's interesting here is it has a 4x resistance to electric attacks. So that's something that Rayquaza and Dragonite do not have. They are part flying, so they'll take neutral damage from electric attacks. You really don't want to be using them, but if push comes to shove and you don't have anything else, electric types will still deal at least neutral damage to them. Garchomp has that covered. So very interesting stuff there. A little bit more resistance on the fire and poison, and it does pick up a resistance to rock because of the ground typing, so that definitely lends itself to the favor of Garchomp compared to the other dragon types. With that 4x weakness to ice, we've seen it before with some dragons, so maybe it's not too big of a deal, but we'll see what happens when he gets into the game. But very excited for Garchomp. Now let's get into number 2 on my list for top 5 favorite Gen 4 Pokemon is Lucario. Now, this is a very popular Pokemon. A lot of people are going to have it high up on their list. But from the Pokemon Go perspective, looking at his stats, unless they do something to tweak it, it's a little bit on the low side. The max CP of 2461, that's alright. That's kind of middle tier. I wish that attack stat was just a little higher. 236 isn't that bad, but coupled with that low defense and stamina, that's going to make using Lucario a little more difficult of a choice, especially since you have Machamp as your best fighting type. Steel type is going to be Metagross by far, especially when he gets Meteor Mash after Community Day. So it's going to be hard to justify using Lucario, but I'll definitely use him a couple times just for fun, just because he's a great Pokemon overall. Going into his typing, fighting in Steel, he is weak to a couple things, fighting, fire, and ground. Decent. But he's got a whole list of resistance, so this could come into play when it comes to PvP. You can match him up against certain types of Pokemon, give him some type coverage, and depending the moves that he gets, he could be very good. So once we get that introduced to the game and seeing where everyone's moves line up, it could be interesting to see him involved in that. But yeah, still very excited about Lucario hitting Pokemon Go whenever he is dropped. But lastly, we'll get into the number 1 Pokemon that I'm looking forward to. Number 1 Pokemon for Gen 4 is Rhyperior. First of all, look at him. Absolutely amazing. He's ready for battle. He's ready to take someone down. So there's that. Just the model of the Pokemon, the appearance looks amazing. Second, full disclosure, I'm definitely a Gen 1 player. I kind of tapered off after Generation 1. I knew a little bit about Gen 2, but between then and about 3 or 4 years ago, definitely wasn't up on the Pokemon knowledge. But when I started to get back into it and I saw that Rhydon had another evolution and I saw his Rhyperior, I was like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. And you'll see in the stats for the game why it's going to be incredible. Max CP 3869, really good. But look at the attack, the defense, and stamina. Absolutely incredible, very balanced. I hope they keep it just like this, because you're going to see a very well-rounded Pokemon that's going to be very useful as far as battling, attacking gyms, PvP when that comes out. So that is going to be fantastic. Keeps the ground rock typing, so of course that's a 4 times weakness to grass and water, just like with Rhydon, and all the other weaknesses that Rhydon has. Rhyperior keeps as he evolved, but you know, he's going to be more of a specialist as far as what you use a Rhyperior for. If something has a 4 times weakness to ground or rock, you're gonna want a Rhyperior. He's gonna be fantastic. I'm gonna be very curious to see the moves that Rhyperior gets and how he's gonna do compared to someone like Groudon or Tyranitar. I don't think he'll outclass Tyranitar, but he might give Groudon a run for his money. As far as from the pure ground type perspective, Groudon still has Solar Beam, and that can honestly be better than his double stab move of ground type attacks. So he'll have the edge there. But Rhyperior is definitely the Pokemon I'm looking forward to the most out of Generation 4. So hopefully that gets dropped soon. Start catching these guys, start especially evolving the ones from the previous generations to their new forms. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a great time to be playing Pokemon Go. So guys, let me know what your favorite Gen 4 Pokemon are. Who are you most excited for? And yeah, thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you next time. Take care.